Mr. President.
The senator from Arizona.
I rise today to talk about a problem that, despite a congressional ban on the practice, continues to plague our budget. That problem is earmarks. Now, back in 1986, just a little history lesson here, as Congress engaged in a last-minute scramble to fund the government, a Republican congressman from Pennsylvania slipped an earmark into a massive spending bill. He turned a small exhibit of steam-powered trains, known as Steamtown, USA, into a national park. 3 decades, nearly $100 million, and one congressional earmark ban later, that project continues to cost taxpayers millions of dollars annually. Now, the Bridge to Nowhere, the North Carolina Teapot Museum, the indoor rainforest in Iowa, and yes, Steamtown, USA, these are among the many egregious earmarks that led fed-up taxpayers to press for a ban on this kind of spending. Like Triceratops and Velociraptors, earmarks that were declared extinct, fossilized relics of a bygone era, are somehow making a reappearance. What taxpayers and many in Congress didn't realize is that despite the successful ban on earmarks, we're still paying millions of dollars for the old ones. Through unexpended funds, carve-outs in the tax code, grant awards, spending on past earmark projects, and their recipients, these still roam the federal budget landscape. Now, today I'm releasing a report, Jurassic Pork, which will highlight the fossilized pork projects that are still embedded or buried deep in the federal budget. It should serve as a reminder that the past scandals that brought about the extinction of earmarks, and it also should serve as a warning the cost of earmarking, because they often outlive the practice itself. Jurassic Park digs into just 24 of the many earmarked projects and recipients of congressional bounty that continue to cost taxpayers millions of dollars. Take, for example, the aptly named Verasa RFTA. This is a bus rapid transit system in Colorado that covers the 40 miles between Aspen and Glenwood. That began as an $810 million earmark. Now, since the earmark ban took place in 2010, thanks to continued federal funding, this project, this vestige, has cost taxpayers $36 million. Also highlighted in the report is the American Ballet Theater, which supplemented the flow of federal grant money with more than $800,000 in earmarked funds from a member of Congress who also happened to perform in one of the group's recent productions. And then there are the 6,000 unspent highway earmarks representing $5.9 billion that sit idle in the Department of Transportation account. These include pork projects like the $600,000 Upper Delaware Scenic Byway Visitor Center in Chesapeake, New York. Now, unfortunately for taxpayers, the visitor center ended up being built in Narrowsburg. Because the location was specified as Chesapeake, the money will likely continue to sit on the federal government's ledger. Now, within these unspent transportation earmarks, there's a smaller group that are often referred to as orphan earmarks. These are earmarks that have had less than 10% of their expended or their anticipated funds spent over 10 years. According to the Congressional Research Service, 70 earmarks worth more than $120 million remain on the books. And in August 2015, more than 1,200 earmarks from the last major highway bill that was passed in 2005. These will officially become orphan earmarks. These represent $2 billion in yet-to-be-spent funds. Now, with the near-bankrupt Highway Trust Fund, Congress needs to find a way to permanently park these unspent funds. To that end, I've also introduced the Jurassic Pork Act, which will rescind funding for orphan earmarks, and it will return this money to the Highway Trust Fund. We all know the Highway Trust Fund could use it about now. Now, like John Hammond, the billionaire CEO of the failed theme park in the first Jurassic Park film, not everyone in Congress is content to leave these as relics of the past. Not a year after the earmark ban was implemented in the Senate, the then Majority Leader proclaimed, quote, "I've done earmarks all my career, and I'm happy I've done earmarks all my career." Others from both sides of the aisle have argued that a return to earmarking would help to lard up or incentivize votes. But taxpayers don't exist for political horse trading, nor as a reward for powerful members to dole out as tribute. Taxpayers need to remain vigilant against all these kinds of parochial spending, and we cannot return to pork as we knew it. Now, the moratorium on earmarks in 2010 did put an end to these kind of shenanigans, but as readers of Jurassic Pork will see, the spending on their legacy continues. Now, taxpayers have already seen the end of this movie. We don't need to be treated to a sequel. Mr. President, I yield the floor, and I suggest the absence of a quorum.
The clerk will call the roll.